decided to sit down tonight and do our herb seeds and get those started. So as we plant them, we will talk about what we're doing and why we're doing it, and what we're planting and why we're planting it. So, do you want the pencil or the drumstick?
Pen.
But the pen's gonna get all dirty. So Billy's just making little holes in each pod for us to put the seeds in. How many are you putting in each one?
Since it's our first time doing this on a big scale, probably some of these will probably get 3.
Oh, there's a lot of seeds in here. Why did we choose the Genovese basil?
Simply put, that's when I think of basil, that's the variety of basil that I only imagine. So
we've never grown this one before. We've only typically done sweet basil, and we really liked it. But I'm excited to try this. Billy has been working on making an herb garden using cinder blocks to outline it or block it off. Using cinder blocks mostly just because it's cheaper and easier than using cedar. We do have, like we said in our last video, we have 10 cedar raised beds, which we love, but for just financial purposes and the ease, because you can always take it apart a little bit easier and move it around if you need to. But, oh, hi. The side of the property that we are planting on is mostly sloped. So he dug into it and made it level, and then we'll fill it in. Also, with cinder blocks, you get those little holes in each block that we like to use as containers for planting. So we did that. Like, we're gonna use those holes for planting some other stuff in, including some of the invasive herbs like peppermint, St. John's wort, chamomile, that kind of stuff. So
we planted 4 of that first basil.
The Genovese basil.
Now we're going to do a combination of 3 more basils. We're going to do 1 of blue spice basil, 1 of a dark purple basil that we've done a different type of purple basil before, and we like that.
Yeah.
And then lettuce leaf basil. We're actually going to do 2 of those.
Yeah. We laid out giving each plant about a 1 foot by 1 foot square space, what we can put in, and we figured out with companion planting what plants work best with others, what ones to keep away from each other. So that's why we're laying this out the way that we are, and going through with this. And we tend to not label what we're planting, which I feel like is something that most gardeners do. Is just kind of like, we'll figure it out after it starts growing. Well, I'll remember what I planted. But at least with this, if we plant it the way that we plan on putting it in the bed, we can at least have an idea of what is where and what's growing and what's not. So we're just doing some parsley too. Parsley, I think in our last video I said that we are hoping to start making our own Italian seasonings. So that's why some of these herbs are being used. But parsley is also a laying stimulant for chickens. And so in the colder months, whenever, like, we just got hit with a pretty bad snowstorm in the middle of January, and got some pretty wicked cold. At least for here, it was kind of record-breaking cold. Cilantro's next. And so our chickens did not take too kindly to that, and they started, there were some days that we only got 3 eggs. We have 15 chickens, and they're Rhode Island Reds, so they're pretty good and pretty consistent laying, but there were days that we were only getting like 3 eggs a day or 4 eggs a day, and that lasted for a few weeks. And so we want to plant a bunch of parsley, marjoram, and a few other peppermints, another egg laying stimulant, to dry and give to them in the winter months to kind of boost that egg production a little bit more. And then Billy's doing cilantro right now. That's just because we like cilantro. We like to use it for different sauces and our salsa.
Look at,
Oh my gosh, they're so tiny. That's tinier than the poppy seeds I did today, which were like microscopic.
like, they're everywhere.
Just do the whole thing.
It's like glitter. Just like glitter, you never get rid of it.
Yeah. Oregano is also really good for chickens. Well, for people too. Yeah, medicinally, you can use it as almost an antibiotic. But for chickens, same thing, and it helps fight and deter internal parasites. So that's another one that we want to grow pretty heavily, not only for culinary uses, but for the chickens and for medicinal purposes. Oh, it's gonna be everywhere. And thyme is next.
Probably just wasted about 50 seeds.
Sage is another one that's good for medicinal uses and also good for chickens, just general health. Okay, this would be a nice change of pace. The seeds are bigger.
What's next?
Sage. And that's the
Remaining 2.
Yeah.
I would love to know commercially how some of these seeds get planted and dealt with, because this is,
Yeah.
some of these seeds you cannot.
It's so small.
Planting herb seeds are usually pretty easy, just because most of them, if not all, are 1/4 of an inch in depth. So you can mindlessly make all the holes ahead of time if you really wanted to, and would not have to worry about it.
So we're gonna do rosemary, stevia, rosemary. That is because rosemary is an excellent companion for sage and thyme, and so I wanted to have one rosemary next to the sage and one rosemary next to the thyme. And then the stevia is just getting squished in the middle because space.
Rosemary seeds are not the worst, but they're still not fun. Alright, so the top one.
You also just have the sage, and the sage is pretty big.
Yeah.
At least that one. Oh my. So the stevia, after we got it, we realized like it's expensive. There's only 15, minimum of 15 seeds. But look, the stevia seeds, these are it.
Wow. This should be fun.
Yeah. So stevia, like I said, we're just using as mainly a natural sweetener.
Something different to grow, basically.
Yeah.
And we like to make lemonade in the summer months, especially.
Ooh.
Where we go and harvest our own rosemary and make rosemary lemonade.
I make a really good, not to toot my own horn, but make a really good rosemary vanilla lemonade that we really like in the summertime. So those
this is crazy.
those are ridiculous.
Where's that bag at?
Right here. I would put it back in there and
I'm trying. I've never seen
that's crazy.
a package.
A packet inside of a packet.
For seeds.
That would be why it's so expensive. There. Now the next is lemon balm. Lemon balm is another one that's really good medicinally. So I wanted to grow that this year. I did buy a little bit dried already off of Etsy for to start making my own tinctures and whatnot, and I love it. So it'll be nice to grow it and be able to harvest it myself.
Here we go again.
Is it another one?
It's microscopic.
Oh.
But seriously, if anyone out there does know how people commercially grow and start herb plants, let us know, because
Yeah.
this is a task. Right,
Yeah,
so
the
what do we got?
veggies should go much smoother.
Let's do toothache.
Okay.
It's right here. We're on this row.
Okay. The toothache is a surface, so I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah. Toothache plant, we're just doing one because we've never grown it before, and we figured
There's a
if
lot
we can
there.
get a successful plant out of it, we can make tinctures and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, toothache plant is supposed to be, you're supposed to just be able to pick it up and put it in your mouth and chew on it, and it's, I don't know if it's numbing or if it just is a pain reliever, but we wanted to try it out. Not that we get a lot of toothaches, but we just thought it was cool and wanted to give it a shot.
There's so
Try
many
something
seeds.
new. Yeah, there's a lot in there.
It says minimum 75 seeds, and there's
There's way more than
probably
75.
750 seeds.
Maybe they forgot the 0.
So you get your money's worth with
Yeah,
Baker Creek.
except for with the stevia.
We got chives. Well, most likely knowing them, that's still a deal.
Chives, and then chives are the next one over too.
Like that.
Like an L.
Most likely that's probably a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had really good luck with them. This is our second or third year using them, using
Third.
Baker's Creek, and we've been very happy with everything, except for the slow bolt cilantro, but that could have just been because
We can bunch these, right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna make the pit.
The slow bolt cilantro, that could have just been because it was too hot here that year. That's not necessarily anything on the seeds themselves or the quality. So we've got chives, and then marshmallow. Marshmallow is...
I always wondered where marshmallows came from.
Okay, so I researched this the other day because my friend asked me about it, but the marshmallow plant was originally used in the candy marshmallows, and over time they stopped using marshmallow plant and started using gelatin, but the name stuck. So you won't find this in your store-bought marshmallows anymore, but it is good to know. Oh, look at those. Looks like little
Interesting.
kidneys.
Kidney beans.
Yeah. So those go in between the chives and the lemon balm. But marshmallow we're planting for medicinal purposes.
This one should be interesting.
Why?
The ideal temperature is 60 degrees, and that's usually, even though we get frosts,
Yeah.
maybe late-ish April, the highs
Cool.
could easily be 80.
Even this week is in the 60s. Just about every day until the end of the week when it's going to be in the 70s. So, and we're in what, mid-February. So that'll be
Also
fun.
interesting because it says it's a African native.
Where in Africa
original
is
source of the Egyptian confection of marshmallow. So you would think that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, not
So,
ideally 60 degrees.
Yeah.
What's next?
Lemongrass.
Oh.
Lemongrass, then marjoram. Oh, these are nice. They're.
Oh wow. These are like flakes. Lemongrass is really good for keeping bugs away, especially mosquitoes, which we don't really get many mosquitoes until like September, like end of August and then September and into October for whatever reason. But when we do get them, it's rough.
Well, we get those ones.
The big black ones.
And we get ones in March. Like March and April, where it's not too hot, or it's not, I should say, it's not humid yet.
Yeah.
But then it still gets down to freezing where you have to pull plants in, and then they always hitch a ride on the plants coming in.
Marjoram goes, I believe, underneath the lemongrass.
Yeah, 3 of those, I think.
And again, marjoram, really good egg-laying stimulant for the chickens, and good in Italian seasoning.
It's not as prevalent of an ingredient in most Italian seasonings, but it's still there. So
right.
Once again, it's another
microscopic one.
Another lovely seed.
Yeah, the veggie seeds are typically much bigger, so it's won't be as much of a pain when we do that one. And we're starting the herbs earlier because most of them say to plant, start indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost, which is right around where we are.
Lavender.
Our last frost is typically around the 20th of April. So we're right about there with starting these. So we just wanted to get these started first. Also because they're a pain in the butt. So we're getting it out of the way early. And then we'll do our veggie seeds, I think, next week. If not earlier. We'll get our veggie seeds started. And then after that, we'll start working on the flower gardens. And like I think we said, we decided to go ahead and start a flower farm this year. We are limited on space in terms of where we can store big trays like this in the house. And so I started collecting our milk jugs because our kids drink a ton of milk. So I started collecting our milk jugs and making mini greenhouses out of those for some of the flowers that need to be started early. And today was a gorgeous day, so it was great to have those outside. What do you need next?
Savory. I have no idea about that, so that's all you. I've never heard of it until you said something about it.
It had to be a medicinal use for something.
It's a surface sow.
I'm gonna get my book.
Many in here.
When we were going through our wish list, I went through these books and I kind of jotted down what herbs I wanted, and pretty much if it was in one of these books, I wanted it. So let's see. So I must have seen it in here at some point. Apparently not. Oh no, winter. I think it's under winter.
Bee balm is also a surface sow. Glad I'm checking this.
Winter savory, yes. 251. What does it say? It's a nerve tonic. Winter savory is usually classified as a culinary herb ideal for flavoring soups and stews. Like other culinary plants, it is an effective digestive remedy, but it shares with basil the ability to lift the spirits and stimulate the mind. It can help clear melancholy and depression and improve concentration and mental activity. So, use with basil in infusions and teas as a mental pick-me-up. Use the oil in infusers to scent rooms. Cool. So I will be making tinctures with that and basil to keep everybody happy.
One of our favorites.
Dill. In the past, we've planted a lot of dill mostly as a bug deterrent. You plant them with peppers and tomatoes, and it helps keep the bugs off. But last year, we actually harvested a bunch and used it for pickles, making pickles. So this year, we're gonna do the same. Also, I started making our own, like a high protein, low fat ranch because we are a big ranch family, but trying to cut costs on having to buy it all the time and making it a little bit healthier and figuring out a way to lessen the ingredients. So we've been wanting to put a lot of dill in that as well, because I make it probably once a week or so. And if you guys want to get that recipe, let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to make a short of it. If we can figure out how to post shorts. But that's, so we're very excited to grow dill this year.
That is it besides
And the St. John's wort.
that stuff.
Yes. So the St. John's wort is a medicinal plant, what we're going to be using for medicinal, but it's kind of like the winter's, oh my gosh, look at those seeds. Kind of like the winter savory. It's a pick-me-up plant and really good for depression, insomnia,
Yikes.
and anxiety, and just overall mental health. So it's something that I've been wanting to grow for a few years now, and now that we have this big fancy herb garden, I'm gonna start growing it. But like I said, the plan is to plant the St. John's wort, the chamomile, and peppermint inside the blocks of the cinder blocks to kind of keep it contained, because it can get invasive.
How many do you want to grow?
Yeah, I think we had 4 on the
We
list.
have all those spaces.
Do 6. Do 6, and then we'll do more chamomile too. The chamomile is going to be, that's a direct sow, so that's why we're not starting it
What
indoors.
does that say?
Surface sow. And St. John's wort is a perennial for zones 4 to 8, which we are in 7A. I think it just updated us to 7A.
7B.
7B. I don't know anything. We're in 7B now, which means we're a little hotter than we were before. So we are well within there, and so we should be able to plant these and not have to plant them again. Hopefully. But I'll do 6 of those.
So this lower 4, so I'm just going to move it over. So it's going to be these 6 are going to be the St. John's.
Should we poke holes in what we don't have stuff in? so that we know that they're free.
I'm gonna keep track. All we have to do is mark this edge. Basically, we can cut off this little bit of this edge, and then we know.
Or put tape on it or something.
We know where to always set it. And
yeah.
Let's do.
What do you want to do?
We want to do more rosemary.
Rosemary and lavender.
Well, the lavender, that's all we have because our
we used it.
seeds are. There's only 5 seeds.
You want to start comfrey?
No.
Okay. Well, I was just looking. This one thing has comfrey, and we have it, so I didn't know if we wanted to. We tried starting comfrey last year, and then that rabbit got it, along with everything else, and that was a heartbreaking morning for me. I went to let the chickens out, and I saw everything dug up. That was crazy. Selfishly, we are planting more rosemary. I mean, it's great medicinally, and we use it a lot in our food. But I just really like it. Even if I didn't use it, I would still plant it just because I like it. I love the smell of it. I love it. So, but the difference is that this year, in years past, we've had to do a new rosemary plant each year because we've kept it potted and it's never made it over the winter. And then last year we were growing it in a pot, and then it got to the point where it outgrew its pot, and I just didn't where we have our bigger pots is like way up in storage, and I didn't feel like bothering Billy to come and get it and get one down for me, so I just planted it in the ground, and then it did really, really well. And so we're gonna plant some more and then not pot them and see how they do, and then maybe they can, because rosemary can get like 6 feet by 6 feet, something crazy. I would love that, because I gotta start making my scones soon. Easter's coming up, and every Easter I make lemon rosemary scones, which are beautiful. The neighbors love them and beg for them all year round, so I'm excited to do that again. Do you want to spray them down and then put them in?
Nope.
Okay. So what we will do later, what?
Do that afterwards.
Yeah. So what we'll do later is just take a spray bottle full of water and spray these down. What we learned last year is to not overwater. We made a big mistake with that, and we overwatered our seedlings last year, and so they were weak and did not do very well. And so then we ended up having to, well, pretty much all of our herbs we lost to the rabbit anyway. But our veggies, we ended up just going to a local nursery and buying starts from them, which we're happy to do and support local businesses. But it's also nice to be able to succeed with your own your own seedlings. So we're gonna be sure not to overwater this year, and we'll keep you updated with how everything does. Like I said, or like Billy said last time, we got a grow light and a warming mat, and then we've got our station all set up for that, and so that's where they'll be, and they only need to be in the grow light for what did you say, 6 to 8?
It's just a normal
work day?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, so 6 to 8 hours a day. So we'll do that, and we've got 2 of these big trays. So we've got one for herbs and then the one for veggies. And like I said, the flowers that we'll be starting will be in milk jugs, and kind of just
seeing if they work.
Yeah, hopefully that they do. Anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right, let's go to bed. All right, have a good night. Thanks, guys. Toulouse.